Hi, and welcome to the Zoe Marley channel, the #1 place for aspiring authors to learn the art of how to tell their story. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the dreaded theme. And in this video, we are going to go over why a theme is necessary and how to put a theme into your novel without shoving it down the reader's throat. Oh goodness. So what is a theme? I'm sure you can Google it and get an answer. But my personal idea of what a theme is this is a universal truth between people, and it transcends race and religion and upbringing and your environment. These are natural truths to the world around us, and I feel like it is within our core no matter where we live or who we are. I'll give you an example. I believe that most people on the planet have an idea of freedom. I think most people have always wondered what happens when we die. And I think most people have looked into, why am I here and why am I alive? These are kind of universal truths, universal themes that take up the majority of our thinking space. And for the most part, no matter who you are, you have sat there and kind of wondered about these questions. There are truths in the world, and they are common experiences that we have with one another. And so it transcends just these philosophical questions, and it also is our experiences as human beings. So this can go into a variety of things like life, love, personal growth, whether it's a coming of age story or just you learning and developing as a human being. It talks about our struggles, whether it's mourning or depression, anxiety, loneliness. And I would say the majority of people in the world have had these feelings more than once in their life, and it's a human experience that transcends any other thing we will ever feel in our life. I would say that most books have a very subtle theme in them. There are some books, some stories that are completely life-changing themes. And I will give you an example of a theme that I have found personally life-changing. It was something that has helped develop me as a human being, and I will never forget how I felt the first time I saw this moment. Usually I talk about fantasy, I talk about science fiction, that's kind of my thing, but in this particular thing, what actually moved me, I was at a play and I was watching a play called Les Miserables. Now this is a famous play, it's a famous movie, you can see it on many different platforms. In it, the protagonist, Jean, is a runaway. I won't go into all of the details of why he's a runaway, but he is a runaway. He has stolen before, and he has usually done it for what I feel like is a morally okay reason to steal. Even though I don't condone stealing, in his particular case, I probably would have done the same if I were in his shoes. So here we are, he is on the run, he has escaped again, and there is a bishop that welcomes him into his home. He feeds him, he bathes him, he clothes him. He absolutely treats this man as if Jesus himself has stepped on to his doorstep and needed help. In the middle of the night, Jean wakes up and he steals the bishop's silver candlesticks, knowing that he can get money for him. And he runs away. It absolutely breaks my heart because the first time I saw him steal, I really empathized with the situation, and I felt like he's not a thief, he's just in a really hard position. And then when I saw how good this bishop treated him and he repaid that kindness by stealing from him, it really broke my heart because in my mind that's not who this character was. And in this particular case, to me, it wasn't okay for him to steal. Well, the worst thing in the world happened to Jean. Jean gets arrested. They find these silver candelabras. They know exactly where they came from, and they pull him back to the bishop's house. They wake up the bishop in the middle of the night and says, "We found this man stealing your silver candelabras. He said you gave them to him." And the bishop smiles and says, "I did." I don't have the answers for why the bishop did what he did, but there was an innate kindness that changed Jean's life forever once that moment happened. And that moment was a complete turning point for that character and that character arc. So in my opinion, that particular scene, that particular theme revolved around empathy and believing in another human being to reach their potential, seeing that maybe not everything is okay with that human being, but still making the decision to help them. I personally grew so much from this. I will say that as a young teenager, I had this very vindictive streak about me. And I really feel like this one moment was completely life-changing for me. And it came from just a simple form of entertainment. I am not saying that my expectation for you is to have a theme that completely moves me like this. But what I am saying is I think it is crucial for you to think of a theme for your book and run with it. And as always, I'm going to use my current work in progress as an example to kind of help you piece this all together. The first thing you should be doing is you should state your theme. Even if you don't state it in the book, state it on your head, get it down on paper. My personal theme, and it's something that I've struggled with, I would say my entire life, is finding happiness within yourself. Now, this theme stretches across the entire book. It stretches across every single main character that you see, but it's going to affect them all differently. So my main character, Naeli, is mixed, and she is really drawn to one side of her heritage more than the other side. But she lives within this other side of her heritage, and she feels pulled all the time. She doesn't quite fit in. She doesn't know what to do. She feels duty bound to act and be a certain way. And it creates this unhappiness in her because she's not being who she truly is. As her character arc continues and as she develops as a character, she is going to start living her life exactly how she wants to live it. She's going to find this place in between her two worlds, and she's going to find happiness within it. She just has to be strong enough to stand up for what she wants and what she believes. And when we first meet her, that's very difficult for her to do. My second main character, Bryce, is living in his past, and not because of a particular incident, but because when he was in battle about 5 years ago, he had a concussion so bad that he lost his entire memory. He waited for his family to come and claim him. He waited for people from his old life to come and greet him. And he never found anyone that had ever known him. This is very disturbing to him. So he's afraid to move on in life because he feels like that one day his wife from his old life is going to pop up. Maybe he has children. He doesn't know what life he left behind, and it makes him terrified to move forward and find happiness. So in the beginning, all he's doing is he's trying to make himself as well known and as famous as possible, so maybe someone will come and recognize him and introduce him to his old life. As his character arc develops, he realizes this isn't going to happen, and he has to start making the life he wants to live. My third main character, Meredith, this is one that we talked about when I created my character. She is very vain, and her issue with happiness is she is always waiting for that next step. So do you remember when you were younger and you were like, oh, I can't wait to get to middle school. I can't wait to get to high school. I can't wait till I start driving. I can't wait to buy cigarettes even though I don't smoke. I can't wait to be able to legally buy alcohol. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. And you were always pushing for that next level in life. Well, that's kind of where she is. She is wanting to have the status. She is wanting to have fame. She is wanting to have money. She is wanting to get married. She is wanting to be a wife. She thinks all of this stuff that she wants is going to bring her happiness. And she is going to learn through her character development that that isn't what will work for her. And through her character development, she is going to learn that happiness comes within and not with all of these things. So it's one central theme, and depending on your character's flaws, your character's backstory, they are going to handle the theme differently. They are going to struggle with the theme differently. And I think it's important when you're really wanting to push a certain theme that's important to you, that's important to your life, to really consider all the ways different people can struggle with that specific theme and address them. Now, my last piece of advice is to slowly slip this theme in. This particular advice came from Save the Cat. I have it in the description below. It is, in my opinion, the most helpful writing book I've ever read. I think there's just so much brilliance that went into that book. You can find it in the description below. Click on it, take a look. If you've not read it, hands down, just bite the bullet, buy it. It's amazing. So in Save the Cat, it says to have like a secondary character, an antagonist, someone that isn't a very influential character, to state the theme to your main character. So for example, Meredith and Nayeli, they have a very rough relationship. And in one of the scenes with Meredith, her and Nayeli are fighting, and Nayeli looks at her and says, "Do you really think a man is going to give you happiness?" So of course they're in the middle of a fight. Meredith is not going to listen to that question. She's going to immediately reject the question. In one of the very first scenes, Nayeli has the same moment with someone named Hanovi. And Hanovi is like her, he is of mixed blood, and they're bickering back and forth, and he says, "Why don't you just accept you're in between?" In the very first chapter that you meet Bryce, the same thing happens. He's talking to the king of Roan, the king that he serves, and as the king is trying to understand why Bryce is so resistant to marriage, eventually the truth comes out. Bryce tells him that he's worried that he's already been married and he already has a family. And the king says, "You just got to quit living in the past. If they haven't shown up by now, they're never going to show up." And Bryce, being the person he is, he just can't let go that easily. And so it's going to take character development to get him to that point. So as you can see, you have to have a theme. You have to look at how your character's flaws and backstory goes into that theme. And then your character has to learn a lesson and learn the theme. That's everything I have for you guys today. If you got value out of this video, hit that like button. And if this is your first time seeing me or my channel, my name is Zoe Marley, and I am committed to bringing you 50 videos on tips and techniques to improve your storytelling. So hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and I hope to see more of you soon. Thank you.